Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is a redo video. I posted a video testing the glass paint markers from Dollar Tree and I totally messed up and I baked it at the wrong temperature. On the instructions it says 160 degrees centigrade and I did 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Centigrade was supposed to be Celsius, so it should have been baked at 320. Thank you to everybody who pointed that out. You guys were super sweet about it and I appreciate it so much. But I wanted to make sure that I got a very accurate review on here. So I do plan on keeping all of my original commentary because I still stand behind everything I said and all of the original footage up until the baking part. Now, I did go ahead and do the exact same design on the same mug. I kept the old design on the back, and then I drew the new design up front and labeled it new so you guys can see the difference, and so there's no kind of discrepancy at all. So let's see what happens this time around, and I really hope that you enjoy this video and stick around by subscribing to this channel. Once you hit that subscribe button, we instantly become best friends.
Did we just become best friends? Yep!
And please hit that notification bell so you know every time I post a video. Let's go ahead and get started, and we're doing it correctly this time. The back of the markers really don't have too much information, but it does say that it's supposed to be dishwasher and microwave safe once the item has been heat set at 160 degrees for 30 minutes, and also that you can wipe away while it's still wet. Now, if you've worked with glass pens before, you know that these instructions are a little vague, but we'll discuss that a little later. These are the three colors that I was able to find at Dollar Tree. I really didn't have high expectations for them, but then I opened them up and the tip was really nice. With the more expensive glass paint markers, whenever you make a mistake, you can wipe it away, but most of the time it leaves a little bit of residue, so you have to wipe down with a little bit of alcohol. So I wanted to test how easily it came off while it was still wet, since it does mention that you can wipe away before it's been cured. Now, as you can see here, even if I wasn't testing, I'd have to erase this because the brush tip is so flexible that it's creating really thick lines. So this would be really great for calligraphy, but not so great for things like very intricate designs. You might want to use something with a very precise tip. And as you see, it wipes down perfectly while it's still wet. So now I'm going to go ahead and start drawing a random design, and as you can see, even with putting really light pressure, it still gets thick. And drawing these little loops in here was really difficult because, like I said, it is very flexible. So far the pen is wonderful if you really are into calligraphy or lettering, or if you're using this to write somebody's name on the mug. But for designs like this, not so much. And I'm trying to do little tiny designs on here to see if I can control the pressure of the pen, and it is really difficult. Another thing I want to mention is that the color on this is amazing. Usually when you're working with very cheap paint markers, the black turns into a brown. So I'm really loving that this actually looks vivid and black and like a Sharpie almost. So I'm drawing lines randomly to see if maybe with a little bit of practice I can keep control of the brush. And honestly, it is really hard. It is a very flexible brush, but like I said, that can be a really good thing if you're using this for another project. So now I started adding in the blue and I was so blown away by this color. It is vibrant and it is such a great color. It is even able to cover up some of the black. I really expected these colors to be a little on the dull side and I feel so bad for having low expectations. Same with the green. I thought it would end up being something like a Sharpie, but this looks really great and you can add so many details and go into the black with no issue. I absolutely love these colors. I wanted to go back into the blue and see if it was buildable. I also wanted to accentuate those little loops I made around the heart by adding some blue into it and covering up some of the thickness from the black. I think this turned out so perfectly. I love the fact that I can go over some of the black without smearing it and it's actually able to cover it instead of creating a weird muddy design. So far I am loving the pens. Let me know below what you think so far. Let's see what happens. Now I'm going to bake the color in, and the instructions don't mention it, but you want to put the mug inside of the oven before you even preheat to make sure that you are not having the temperature rise so quickly on the ceramic and it doesn't crack. So this time we are setting it to 320, which is the correct temperature, and I'm going to let it bake for half an hour, but I am going to start that half an hour once it's preheated, and then afterwards I'm going to let it cool completely in the oven. Hey guys, so I had to jump in here and mention one big thing about these pens. First of all, here's the positive. I really do love how they perform. They are nice, they are vibrant. If you know how to do calligraphy or really nice lettering, then they're perfect because they are like brush strokes. However, their instructions are awful, and it is a big safety issue because they are assuming that you already know how to bake glass. Now, if you've seen my Moroccan lantern video, you know that if you're baking glass to set in ink, you're supposed to put the glass in the oven before you've even preheated, like what I did right now. And when you're finally done baking, you're supposed to let it cool down in the oven. You can't take it out and let it cool down before, and they didn't even mention that. And the reason that is so important is because if you take it out beforehand, you can cause small shatters inside of the glass, or it can just shatter altogether, and that is a big no-no, especially when you're doing something with a mug or something that you're going to be gifting something else. That is potentially dangerous. So I am not loving the vague instructions. They really need to assume that everybody who's using this product has never done this before, and all they said was set at 160 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. So that is my only complaint so far. Other than that, the pens feel great. Let's see how they hold up after they've baked and after we wash them a few times. But I really hope this works, but they really should consider changing their instructions. I let my mug completely cool down in the oven and I'm able to pull it out without wearing any kitchen mitts because it should be completely cool to the touch. So far so good. When I rub it with my fingers, the colors don't bleed onto each other. Now I'm going to put it in my dishwasher. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have never used a dishwasher. I always hand wash my dishes. I set it on normal on the top rack and let it do its thing. When I pulled it out, I was really happy and relieved to see that all of the colors were still there. So I went ahead and grabbed a kitchen towel and I rubbed it a little bit as I would if I'm drying dishes, and only a little bit of the design came off, nothing out of this world. I was pretty happy with that. But then instead of doing a second round in the dishwasher, I decided to hand wash because this is how I realistically wash my stuff. Now, I ended up using a really old sponge. I didn't use my gritty one because I really wanted to give this a fighting chance. And as soon as I gave it its first wipe, I noticed that some of the stuff was coming off. So this made me not so happy. So you can see here how much of the design wiped off using a really dull sponge. I baked it for 320 for more than half an hour, let it cool completely. This was a clean mug and we still got the same result. So unfortunately, we still have the same results. As soon as I gave it a hand wash, it wiped away, and it shouldn't be that way. Even with the more expensive paint pens, they do wear over time, but not during the first wash, and definitely not a hand wash. So I am gonna label this a little bit of a fail in the sense that keeping it for permanent designs on a mug, probably won't work. You shouldn't go on a scavenger hunt to find these if this is what you want them for. But if you're using them for paper, I don't see why they wouldn't work. This is exactly what I said at the end of my last video. This would be great for calligraphy, or if you're looking for a less permanent design on glass, if you're gonna do like a seating chart for a wedding, this would be perfect because once you're done, you can just wipe it down and reuse it. But for what we were using it for, it is a fail. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am so sorry for the mistake. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of these videos where I'm testing Dollar Tree products, leave me a comment below and I will gladly do that, as well as just let me know what you would want me to test. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.